everyone. Welcome tonight to a very special Life Talk Live. And this is one that you do not want to miss. This is one that you want to share with your friends. So, again, if you haven't been here before, this is Life Talk Live. And my name is Pastor Scott. And it's great to have you here tonight with us. And we're going to be doing something, as you can see, looks like I'm going to be doing some magic tricks. But I'm not. I'm going to show you how to finally be happy. Okay? If you've been struggling your whole life saying, why can't I ever be happy? I go up, I go down, I go up, I go down, and it's always something going wrong. Maybe right now, with all that's going on in the world, in the news, you know, whatever side you fell on, maybe you're happy, maybe you're sad. I promise you, you'll probably be sad again. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is something that is so simple, yet we've missed it all along. And I'm going to give you, in simplistic form, without any religion, okay? Religion is not allowed. Not going to be talking about religion. We're going to be talking about why can't you ever be happy? And we're going to do it in a strange way, with 10 cups, a hook, a nut, and something very important missing. So get all your friends together. If you know someone who's been struggling all their life, depression and anxiety, maybe it's not depression and anxiety. Maybe you're just miserable, and maybe you've just tried everything and you don't understand. You've leaped for this and you've leaped for that, and you thought, wow, once I get this, it's all going to be good, and then it always falls apart. Well, tonight we're going to give you answers. And people, I do not exaggerate. I'm going to give you undisputed proof at the end here why this works, and why this is true, and why this is the only way you will ever find happiness. It's 1,000% guaranteed. And there'll be no clever tricks, or at the end you going, oh, I knew he was going to say that. No, I'm going to give you something that's going to be food for you to digest and to think on. And then you decide. You decide if what I said is not true. And you decide if you can deny the facts that I give you. Because how do you know? If you say, well, I've heard it all before, I know where you're going with this, you're a pastor, so it's probably going to be some religious thing. No, we're not going to go there, okay? We're going to go to simple facts, the facts of life, and what you've been missing all along, why you're never happy, and how you can be, but you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a choice of what you're going to do with the information I give you tonight. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to just say, I'm not listening anymore? Or are you going to give, maybe for the first time in your life, give someone with a fresh idea the ability to say what they have to say and you to listen? What do you have to lose? If everything I say here tonight is a lie, you're no worse off than you were before. But what if it's true? What if it's true? So what we're going to do, we're going to take you on a journey through your life, right all the way back when you were a child. And we're going to bring you all the way back to where you are today. We're going to go through grade school. We're going to go through high school. We're going to go through young adulthood. And we're going to go through, if you're an adult and you're, whatever age you are, we're going to bring you right up to where you are today, 2020. With all the chaos going on, none of this changes. It all stays the same. Because we all make the same mistakes. So, with that said, we're going to go to this. if you're honest with yourself, and I know there's always exceptions to the rule, okay? But for the most part, when you were a child, if you think about it, that was the happiest time of your life, okay? 5 years old, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You probably start to get bummed out about 14, 15 because you start to realize what life is all about. Now, I'm not saying maybe you were abused or, whatever, and you had a horrible childhood. But for the most part, okay, most of us in our lives, and if you think about it, the time where you were the most carefree, okay, and think about it, when you were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you didn't care about what was happening in politics. You didn't care about sicknesses and diseases. You really didn't care about those things because all you were focused on was what? Getting up in the morning, okay, going to school and then being with your friends, and what? Your goal was to be happy. And for the most part, you were. But why? Why could you be a child and really go through it? Like, you look at children today. Like, if you have children out there, I'm sure you are giving them a lot of comfort. You don't want them to worry about what's going on in the world, right? You're giving them encouragement, and you're like the buffer zone. You're the shock absorber that keeps them isolated. And friends, that's the big clue. Because when we were children, I'll give you an example. My father owned an auto repair shop. And when I was, a child, all I knew is Christmas time, I got presents. My birthday, I had a party, and I had friends, and everything was up. Life was up. Looking at Mary Sue, maybe she'll be my girlfriend, and what new toy I'm going to have, and, getting my first bike. Everything was up, always looking up. And it was always excitement. Summer's coming. We're off for the summer. Now, the question I want you to think about is, why were you able to enjoy life? Because think about it. Did you not enjoy life more when you were a child? And getting back to my father thing, my father owned an auto repair shop. And I only knew later on, because I ended up working there, my mom and dad went through really hard struggles when they almost lost the business, and the place got robbed, and they got sued, and all kinds of things, and my father had appendicitis, almost died. But as a child, I never knew any of that. I was at peace, and I was just focused on my little life. Why? Because mom and dad, if you had the both of them, or maybe you just have one, they dealt with the big issues, right? If you were sick, did you worry about if you had health care? No, because somehow mom and dad got you to the doctor. If there was a storm and the rain was coming down, or a hurricane was coming, did you worry about, gee, Dad, I hope our roof's going to hold up? No, when you're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you just know mom and dad are going to take care of everything. And because of that transference of fear, you were able to truly enjoy those years because someone else took care of the bad stuff. You didn't worry about where money was coming from. You didn't worry about if the washing machine broke. You didn't worry about anything. Because mom and dad, or maybe just mom, or maybe dad, they took care of it. And for the most part, when you were sad or you had a tummy ache, you went to mom or dad, and they took care of it. When you were afraid, they gave you a hug. When you wanted something for Christmas, for the most part, most of us got what we wanted. Maybe it was something small. But the point I want to make is, what happened? What happened in our lives that we lost that innocence, that, wow, I'm just going to go play with my friends, and let's go explore the woods, and let's go to the beach, and everything was an adventure because you didn't have all of this peripheral fear and worry to be concerned about because someone else was taking care of it. But what happened? You began to grow up. And it's interesting, the ones who were taking care of all these things that you didn't even concern yourself with, they began to somehow become your enemy. Because what happens when you get to be 15, 16, 17? I had some really bad fights with my dad, always arguing and rebelling. And it's interesting, the ones who were taking care of us the most were the ones we began to hate. Why? Because subconsciously we resented that we needed them. And what did we want? What did you want to do? When I was a kid and I used to hang out with my friend John and all our buds on the street corner, I remember we started off sitting down and then we got bikes. And then we'd hang out on our bikes. And we were hanging out on our bikes, we'd think about, imagine when we have cars. And then we'd have cars and we'd park on the street corner. And we would say, imagine when we're 20 or 30, right? And that's what we would do. But what happens, okay? Again, getting back to that fear, you start to realize that what you want, yes, it's out there, but the scary part is when you go out there, you have to leave mom and dad behind. And the ones that you despise sometimes and are angry at, you don't even realize that they were the source of your joy. Because, again, all you wanted to do was just be an adult, right? And that was where I was going with that story. I lost my thought there. Hanging out with my friends. I just want to be on my own. I want to get a job. I want to have a girlfriend. I want to do this. And once we leave the 18, 19, 20-year-olds, we start to go, and it's fun because most of us are still living at home, and you know what? Mom and dad's maybe helping with insurance payments, and you might have a little job and you're going out and you got your first car, but you're going to the bars, you're going to the clubs, and it's all about you. Who you're meeting, whose party you're going to, and it still didn't really hit you yet until you get to be like 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. All of a sudden, that joy and the innocency of just enjoying the day disappears. Why? Why did it disappear? Because mom and dad step out of the equation. Mom and dad can't fix everything anymore. Mom and dad don't have all the answers anymore. And we don't realize it, but the joy of living is gone because most of the time we're worrying about who is going to pay my doctor bills? Who is going to pay the rent? Where is the food coming from? If I have a leak in my roof, that's a big problem. If my car breaks down, how am I going to fix it? So all these other things, they start to climb in on us. And all of that joy of living is gone. Because there is no one above watching out for you. Taking care of the big problems. That voice behind you going, don't worry about it. I got it. It's covered. You go out and have a good time. That's gone. And all of a sudden, adulthood comes in, and the fears come in, and anxiety, and, hurt by friends, and, you get to deal with things that mom and dad can't run interception for anymore. They can't fix the problems. Little Bobby, he hurt my feelings, and, mom and dad will go, we'll take care of that for you. Now all of a sudden, it's just you. So what do you do? Okay, what do? You try to recapture that childhood joy. People, that's what you've been doing all your life. And that brings us to our object lessons. Obviously, these are object lessons. Now, it's going to take some time to decipher this, but I want you to just follow along with me. Okay? Our first object lesson, and I don't know if you can see this, this is a very big nut, the type that you would screw onto a bolt. This is a very big one, so it's easier to see. And this is going to be our central antagonist for the day. Okay, for the night. This is going to be the symbol of you and I. And why I use it as a symbol is for a couple of reasons, okay? Why are you and I like a nut? I'll tell you. Number one, we have a big hole in the middle. Now, the hole in the middle of this nut, it has these threads that have been machined into it. It is designed for something else that's not here. And that's the center of us. So just follow me with this. On the outside of us, we have highs and we have lows. We have highs and we have lows. And isn't that what our life is? You know, you get the car, I'm happy. Okay, then you get the car payment and you're sad. You get the girlfriend, I'm happy. Right? And then you lose the girlfriend or the boyfriend, whatever, and you're sad. Okay? And what do you start to do? And this is the road we're going to be on tonight. Okay? As we look at this symbol of you, and everything that I have explained so far is going to come together at the end. So in an attempt to regain the joy of being a child again, that abandoned feeling, you know, not abandoned, but reckless abandon, that we can just go out, enjoy everything, you know, look at the sunshine, look at the birds, and just have fun with our friends. We want to regain that, but for some reason, we can't. Okay? So what do we do? Okay. We're doing good out there? Everything's good? Okay. So this is the first thing we do, and we're going to start using our cups. And as you can see here, I have green cups. I have 5 green cups and 5 blue cups, turquoise, whatever you want to call them. And these are our first attempts at regaining what we lost when mom and dad were no longer overseeing our lives and there to bail us out. Okay? I remember one particular time as an adult, you know, I was going through a real hard time, and I went to my mom and dad and said, you got to get me out of this. And they said, we can't. We can't fix this one, son. You're on your own. And I was so scared to know that, wait a minute, mom and dad always fixed everything. They always got me out, but they can't. So in that fear, what we try to do is regain it. How? The first thing we do is we look to friends, okay? And this is the friend cup. And we take our lives and we dip it into friends. And we say, wow, if I just had a lot of friends, I'll be happy. Because as a kid, you know what? If you had a lot of friends, you were happy. You wanted to be, you know, invited to those parties. And we take our life and we dip it in the cup of friends. But what do you find out? Friends don't fix everything. Friends don't pay your bills. Friends don't, you know, heal you when you're sick. Friends don't fix your roof. And we take that cup and we say, well, that's not the answer. And we put that upside down over here because I'm still not happy. And then we say, I know what I need. I need to step it up. I need to take it and get some love. I need love. I just had a mate, had a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever you're doing out there. If I just had love, and we take our life and we dip it in the cup of love, and it feels good, and it seems like it's the answer for a little while. Until what? Until love goes sour. Until, you know, you could even say, you know, if I just got married. People, if getting married was the solution to life's happiness, then there would be no divorces. How do people who are so in love end up in violent, horrible divorces? Because that's not where you regain that joy and happiness. So you pull your life out of love and you're disappointed, and you say, you know what, maybe I need to take it up a notch. Maybe I just, you know, I'm tired of getting my heart broke all the time. I'm just going to go out there and play the field. And we take out the sex cup. And we say, you know what, I'm just going to sleep around. And I'm going to sleep around with this one, and I'm going to play the field, man. I'm going out to the bars and having time. I'm going to have an affair with this one and do that one. And you know what? This person, if my husband or wife isn't good, well, this one's going to fix it, and we're just going to have sex. But you know what happens, okay? that only lasts for a little while because sex doesn't pay your bills. Okay, unless you're a prostitute, I guess, but that's not going to end well. Okay, sex doesn't bring you daily joy. It's over when the sex is over. Sex doesn't pay your bills. Sex doesn't fix the roof leak. Sex doesn't fix your car. And you realize that, wow, that's not the answer. And by the way, as you get older and older and older, this becomes less and less of a quick fix. Because all these things, they're quick fixes. So we take sex and we put it away over there. Okay? Now we begin to get afraid because we're running out of things to get back this joy. What am I going to do? Well, if I can't make joy by life experiences, doggone it, I am going to fabricate it. I am going to synthesize joy. And we go to the drug cup, drugs. And that's going to include drinking and all those things. And sadly, this cup does work like all the cups. And we take our life and we dip it in there, and it's like soothing. The drugs take away the pain. They take away the fear. They take away the loneliness. And for a short time, you feel what you've always wanted to feel, joy. But what happens? Well, just look around our world, people. If, one drug is okay, it's okay for a little, and then you need more and more, and then the drug possesses you, and then the drug destroys you. And if drugs were the answer, then everyone on drugs would be happy. No, they're in rehabs. They've lost everything. They've lost their lives. And you come out of that, what? Trying to get out of it. I've got to get out of these drugs. They're killing me. Because it was never real. And we take that cup and we put it away. And then we say, well, I got out of that. And I'm going to, maybe I need to start taking care of myself. Maybe I need to do some things. And we take up the next cup, which is going to be, and this is probably a loose term for what I really want to say, but we're going to call it hobbies. Things to make you happy. I know what I'll do. I'm just going to get into my hobbies, whether it's race cars or fishing or music or playing in a band or horseback riding, whatever it is. I need to take care of me. So you get your hobby and you delve into it with all that you are. But it still doesn't do it. Well, first of all, you need money for those hobbies, don't you? Which we're going to get to. And all of a sudden, you can have your own horse, you can have your race car, you can have whatever you're into. I don't know, mountain biking, dirt bikes, whatever you coloring, artwork, whatever you're into. It doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't give you that peace that you had when you were a child. Because you know what? When you dunk your life into these things, this hole, it doesn't have a block on the back. The water just goes right through it. It goes right through it. You can't pull it out of here. It stays in the cup and it leaves you just the way you entered it. Empty. Highs and lows. Highs and lows. Well, you're starting to get really freaked out now because now you're getting 25, 30 years old. And you start to say, I know what I'll do. I know what I'll do. I need to get money. I'm just going to get into a career. And if I just have a lot of money, I am going to be fine. So you just, you get into that zone, that real productive part of your life. And maybe, you're starting businesses and you're saving, and if you can make money, that's great. Most of the time, we never make enough to make it, to make a change in our lives. But we do dip our life into the money cup. And that doesn't last long because money is a hard thing to keep. And yet, if you have a lot of it, you can be happy for a little while. But remember, if money was the ultimate answer, then all the millionaires and all the movie stars wouldn't be killing themselves, wouldn't be turning to drugs and alcohol and all kinds of things and getting themselves into trouble if money was enough. It's never enough. And we soon realize that. We soon realize that even money isn't enough. And you know what? To have the money, what do you have to do? You got to work a lot, okay? And some of us can get lost in our work. I'm going to make more money, and I'm going to get into that job. I'm going to have 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I'm going to have tons. I'm going to invest. I'm going to, you know what? And people who make a lot of money, they fall into a slippery slope because they're so afraid of losing it. They are obsessed with making more. And again, when you dip your life into this cup, you come out and the joy stays in there. It doesn't come with you. It doesn't hold. Well, you decide, I know what I'll do. I think it's time to start working on me physically. I think I need to go to a gym, okay? And it's proof because if you look around at the world today, there are more gyms than there are places of worship. Places of worship are closing down. Gyms are opening up. We all love to look good. And you say, you know what, I think it's time. I'm getting a little pot belly here. You know, I'm getting a little flabby. I'm going to go work out. Because I don't want anybody to know what I look like on the inside. At least I'll look good on the outside. So we get obsessed with health. And we go to the gym, we eat right. You say, you know what, all the years of drugs and stuff, I'm gonna become a vegan, I'm gonna be eating tree leaves, whatever I gotta do. I'm just gonna feel good about me, I'm gonna drink good, clean water, I'm gonna jog, I'm gonna exercise. But you know what's funny about that? It actually might change the outside of you, but it's just kind of like putting chrome plating on this nut, okay? You could make this nut look like solid gold, but it's still going to have a hole in the middle. And you know what? Do you think people who go to the gym, because I watch them, you know, and I do exercise. I ride my bike, I have a little aerobic thing I do. Do you think that taking care of yourself, the outside, I'm going to get my hair done, I'm going to look good, I'm going to look young, I'm going to regain who I was when I was a child so I can do those things? Now, if that was the case, do you think everybody who's walking out of a gym, they have no depression, no sadness? Do you think they're just full of life and full of happiness? Sometimes the health and the exercise becomes their drug. And you know what? When you walk out of that gym, no matter how big your pecs are and how nice your body looks, and you could even have, you know, we could include onto that plastic surgery, because when we got the money, well, if I can't grow, you know, whatever I need, I'll have them done plastic surgery. I'll make myself look good. But again, what's that old phrase they say? You know what? You could put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. You know, polishing a turd, they say. We can polish this nut that everyone is really impressed. Make it all chrome. And I know that's important to you and me, because if you go to a gym, what do you see? Mirrors. Because if we can't look good on the inside, at least I look good. And I fooled everyone, maybe even fooling myself. But friends, that still doesn't give us that reckless abandon that we had when we were a child, because there's still bills. There's still, now, what if I get cancer? What if I you know, as you get older, you know, those guys, we have to have our prostate checked. Women that have to have, you know, their breasts checked. Everyone's getting checked for what? For cancer. And you can't laugh and enjoy life because you're always afraid that someone's going to come and steal it from you, like this pandemic. You know, Jay, I had everything worked out, and now I have to worry about dying from a sickness. You see, you can't run from it. And sadly, some people go back to drugs again. It's kind of a vicious cycle. And they go back to drinking. And then some people, that becomes their God, and that brings the other cup. You know what? Maybe I don't have a great body. Maybe I don't have a lot of money. Maybe I don't have a lot of friends. Maybe I don't have a lot of love, but at least I'm sober. Okay? I am sober. I've done something. And people, if you are, I applaud you, because that's a great place to be. But if sobriety is the answer of the ages, That means that everyone at an AA meeting and at an NA meeting are the happiest people in the world because sobriety has brought them salvation, joy, the peace of a child. But you know it doesn't. I know because I counsel them. And I do encourage you to get sober. It's a good step. It's an important step so you can hear the truth, but it still isn't the answer. Now, as you can see, we're running out of cups here. And we're getting nervous. What do? Well, out of desperation, we say, well, maybe I will work on the inside, but from an outside force. And we get into, and you're going to be surprised about this cup, we say maybe it's time to get into religion, to get into purpose, to get into spirituality, okay? I'm going to look into Scientology. I'm going to get to be a better me. I'm going to study myself, and I'm going to really dig down and take care of number one and just have good vibes and good thoughts. That's what I'm going to do. And we dip ourselves into religion. And people, religion isn't the answer. Because religion is a system of steps and things, good deeds you do, that don't do anything, because when you pull your nut, who you are, out of that cup, it doesn't fill. Religion is not the answer. Because if it was, everyone who was religious would be the happiest people on the world, on the planet. They wouldn't have any of these things, and they would have this peace. Because doing good deeds and helping the poor, they would just make you feel so good, but they can't pay your bills and fix the roof and fix the car. You're on your own. You're by yourself. Mom and dad are not there. And there's nothing you can do to replace it. Now this brings us to our next object lesson. The big red hook. And I don't know if you can see that. Now, in case you didn't know it, all through your life, as you're traveling, okay, through all these cups, okay, you're actually on your way to the answer. As you realize these things are not the answer, you're getting to the answer. But there's something dark and sinister out there. It's the red hook that's constantly chasing you around, and if it's successful, it gets you and it pulls you away from where you really need to go. And the interesting about a hook, it does kind of fill the hole a little bit. And this hook could be the symbol for anything that grabs onto you and pulls you because you thought it was the answer. And in a way, all these things are hooks. Because if you think about a fish, when you go fishing, what does the fisherman do? He puts a worm on the hook. Something that's tasteful and attractive to the fish. But it's a trick. Because a fishing hook has a little barb on it. And what's that barb on it for? So when you bite into it, because you thought you found what you were looking for, you can't get off of it. And the fisherman takes you home and cooks you, and you're dead. Many of those things, lust, temptation, fame, okay, I think I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be a rock star, I'm going to be a movie star. Have you heard about the director's bed, they call it? I think they called it director's bed, where you go and you audition. How many people have sold their lives to just be famous, and the hook bites, and it's so appealing that you just bite onto it and you follow it, and you don't care what happens, because it does seem to fill the emptiness. But people, at the end of the day, we're still left with a problem. Now, at this time, this is the most complicated and tricky part of our lives, because in our desperations, we start to think and we start to say, wait a minute. I begin to see that this thing is designed for something. I was designed for something greater. I have a purpose. And you know what? A lot of motivational speakers will tell you, you have a purpose. You find that purpose, and you're going to be happy. So you start to look for that purpose, but here's where the great deception comes. Because what's missing here, if you're smart, and I know you are, we're missing the other part of this. The other part of you. What was this nut designed for? A bolt. And when we see the first bolt, it's like, oh, there it is. It's a bolt. It has threads. It was designed for me. And I think this is going to be it. I have purpose. I am significant. I am a human. I have found the Holy Grail. And it looks like it fits. But it's not quite it. And it's easy for life problems to pull away that joy. It's easy for sickness to pull away that joy. It's easy for bankruptcy to pull away this thing that you might have thought. And you know what? This bolt, symbolically, it could be religion. It could be spirituality. It could be anything that you think that was the answer. Because it looked so close. Pastor Scott, I was right there. Why didn't it work? Because it was the wrong bolt. People, there is only one thing that's going to complete this nut. There is only one thing that's going to fill the emptiness. And once you bite onto it, it's going to draw you closer and closer. And it's going to be so tight and so filling that there's no way you can separate the two. And you actually will become something you weren't before. You'll be transformed into a new entity. And that's where we bring in the answer. The bolt. And that's a big bolt. And you find that quickly, with the first turn, it bites. And you go, wait a minute. And you go a little further. And you go a little further. And you go, this is filling everything. And as the bolt becomes more prevalent, the emptiness disappears, and less of you and more of the bolt. And a transformation takes place. Something that's never happened, and you get excited and you want more of the bolt. You want to get further in there until you're so close that there's nothing left of you. But there is. But it's you fulfilled, completed, and unable. Poverty, sickness, nothing, pestilences, COVID-19, political unrest. You can't be separated from this. Now the question of the day is, well, what is the bolt? And I told you it wasn't religion. So what is it? What is the answer for every single human that's ever existed? Well, it's to reach out and find the one that made you. You see, as I said before, this nut, it is obvious it was designed with threads that were designed specifically to match up with other threads. Nothing else is going to complete this. Now, I know, because I'm going to play the devil's advocate, you're going to say, I know where you're going with this. I knew where you were going with this. You're going to say God. And you know what? I'm going to go one better than that. I'm going to say Creator. People, I'm going to prove to you today. I'm not going to talk about anything. I'm not going to talk about church, even about Christ. I'm just going to talk about this one simple fact that you have to decide what you're going to do with. Is there a creator that created you and whom only he can fill you and complete you? Remember that movie with, who was that actor? You Complete Me? I think that was, who was Cruz? What was his name? Yeah. You complete me? Only one being completes you. And it is the Creator. And I'm going to prove to you that there is one. You know how I can prove to you that there is one? Because, well, let me ask you this. How do you know that someone made this bolt and this nut to be used together? How do we know that? Is it by faith? No, it's fact. I'm holding it. I know this was made and designed and planned by someone, some factory, some engineer, because I see it. I hold it. It is obvious, it is real, and that the designer is real because the design exists. When I go to New York City or any city, how do I know there is an architect to the buildings? I see the buildings. The buildings are proof of the architect. And I ask you today, look around. Are you not proof that there is a designer? Isn't this planet proof that there is a creator? Because you have to be a fool to say it's not. You have to be a fool to look around and say, well, I breathe in oxygen or air, which is a mixture of oxygen and nitrogen, which just happens to be the exact mixture that I need. I need food to live on this planet. Wow, there just happens to be the foods that I need growing in my garden. The temperature of this planet just happens to be the temperature that I need to live. As the earth circles around the sun and rotates, if we move just a little bit too close, we burn up. A little bit too far, we freeze. Everything is exactly where it needs to be to support life. Remember when you were a kid and you built those little terrariums for science projects? What would you have to do? Like the teacher would say, okay, we're going to give you a frog, you're going to get a turtle, you're going to get a fish. What do? You build an environment that has the right temperature. You have a little temperature gauge, the right terrain, the right food, everything that supports life for that individual creature. And that's kind of what the creator, the intelligent designer, did. And you see that clearly. You see it clearly that he has specifically built our environment for those to dwell in it. Now you can say, I don't believe that, and that's your free will to do that. Or you can say, what if I'm wrong? Is it possible for you to be wrong? If you think it's impossible for you to be wrong, then you're a narcissist. You wouldn't really want to be called that, right? People, I'm wrong a lot. But in that humility, I've learned a lot. I learned that there's something bigger than me. I see it in the birds and the animals, the environment, the mountains, the oceans. And when we look at planet Earth from the Hubble telescope or from another vantage point, we realize how small we are and how big the cosmos is. And if we think we're just here by some random chance explosion, that takes a lot of faith. You're actually living by faith. Because I don't live by faith, okay? I live by fact. But it started out with a step of faith. Getting out of my own head and saying, you know what? Because it doesn't take too much faith. Oh, you God people. You just walk blindly. No, I don't walk blindly. I walk with my eyes wide open. And I started to look around. In case you didn't know it, I was an atheist for a while. I grew up in a traditional religious home. I got involved in the occult, Satanism, and then I got involved in atheism, and I was an atheist, loved science, still love science. If you've been around me, you know I like talking about space-time continuums and string theory and dark matter. I love that stuff, but I'm smart enough now to know that someone, something is holding everything together, and they want to hold you together. But you have to climb out of that box that your head is in and decide, do I want to float around trying to fill this hole with things that will never, never bring me joy and happiness? Or do I want to take the chance, what really isn't a chance, and say, maybe the one thing I've needed all this time has been right in front of me, and I never even thought about it. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go any deeper into this. I'm not going to give you any Bible scriptures. I'm not going to talk about Jesus Christ, because I can't bring you to that until you come to the point where you say, maybe someone greater than me created me, and only that being can fulfill me and bring me completeness. And just think about this. As we bring this full circle, remember where we started when you were a child? What did mom and dad do? They worked to protect you, to guide you, to provide. Well, if there is a God, and he is a father figure, he replaces what you had as a child. Now he takes care of how are you going to make it. He takes care of the problems. Okay? He gives you the guidance to tell you what to do. Because when mom and dad have passed away, and maybe they did, you can't go to them anymore. But the Creator is always there. And he wants to take over and be that loving father, but he will not force himself. He's waiting for us. And he has been following you around your whole life. Through every skinned knee, every hurt feeling, trying to get you to see that all of these cups are never going to be the answer. Because there's only one thing that is going to fill you and complete you. And once you get a taste of it, all you want is more. You want to know who this Creator is. Don't you want to know who made the planet, who made the galaxies and the constellations and the star clusters and all those things, who made your DNA, who made who you are, who made everything? Don't you want to know how your heart was designed, why we're here? Why are we here? Well, what am I made for? Where am I going? Where did I come from? What happens after I die? What's going to happen to planet Earth? What happens if everything gets crazy? Who's going to watch out for me? There is a Creator who wants to take you under his arm and carry you like a football through the opposition. But he's waiting for you. And I'm going to leave with this. What do you need to do? I give you this challenge. Wherever you are, if you can, if you're in, a place where it's, you can go outside and you can see nature, ocean, beach, or maybe in your car, maybe you're in an apartment. Shut off everything. Shut off your cell phone. Shut off the TV. Shut off all sense of sound. And close your eyes and say, God, if you're there, I'm searching. I want to know if this is true. I want to know if you're real. And I am finally at the place where I'm willing to listen. You gave me 2 ears, not 1, to listen twice as much as I speak. I want to know who you are. What do I need to do? And I'll tell you something, just in case you think there's a catch. I'll tell you what that God doesn't want you to do. He doesn't need your money. He doesn't need your good deeds. He doesn't need you to join a church. He doesn't need you to join a religion. He needs you to listen to some important things he has to tell you about you that you need to know in order to complete this union. But it's going to take humility, and it's going to take an honest, here I am, God. I want to know. Because I heard it written that those who seek him with all their heart shall find him. Be careful, though, when you do that, because remember this little guy who floats around. He doesn't like that you're looking for the real truth. So many counterfeits might come your way. But remember the cups. They won't be the answer because they won't fit the hole. Now, I'm going to close out tonight, and if you enjoyed this, if you want me to take it to the next step, what do we do after that time that you cry out? What's the next thing? What would this Creator want from us? What does he want to say? What does he have to say to us? If you would like me to continue, then let us know. We have a text number, 631-769-6712. You can reach us at. We have an email, lifetalklive7@gmail.com. lifetalklive7@gmail.com. It'll pop up on the screen. Okay? And you know what? If you want to send me an email or a text and say I'm a jerk and I don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. Okay? I have no problem with that. But if you're looking for something you've never heard before, that you desperately, and this is not just this would be good for you, this is life and death. You must have this, especially in light of what is going to be coming. Because we're going to be facing hard times. The Creator never said this was going to be an easy go. Bad things are coming. And those who are tightly connected, finding where they belong, are going to go wherever the Creator goes. And he'll take you. Okay? And as we notice from the bolt, once we meet the Creator, we realize how small we are next to him. We become secondary. He becomes primary. He becomes the major force, and he's stronger than anything else we're going to face. And instead of going this way, we go this way. And wherever he goes, we follow. And the Creator will lead us home. He'll lead us to that feeling you had when you were a child. And you know what the result will be? You'll be able to go and have fun again, even on dark days, and maybe even laugh again, and see life through a whole new light. Be able to see life as a child again. And it's interesting as we close and you hear the music starting, God does say that those who come to me must come to me as a child. Childlike faith, knowing that mom and dad will take care of everything. I can enjoy life because mom and dad are taking care of the big issues. I have faith in them. I trust them. This is Pastor Scott with Lifetalk Live. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this touched your heart and made you think. Please ponder this, and if you liked it, please share it with your friends who are going through hard times. What do you have to lose? And we ask you, if you would like, go to our YouTube page, Center Reach Bible Church YouTube, and you'll see this come up probably by the end of the night. And subscribe and give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down, whatever you want to do. And remember this, I have no agenda, people. I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking for you to come to me or follow me. I have no agenda other than you. finding joy again. That's it. No strings attached. Who else offers you that? Thank you, and God bless.